This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Now, it certainly did, and I want to ask both of you guys this question. I'll start with you, Chris. Having, your first WrestleMania match at WrestleMania 2000, it included Chris Benoit, had to be a big-time achievement. What do you guys remember of that match?
Well, so Kurt was the double champion. And once again, it's his first WrestleMania. I think he'd been in the company for like 6 months. I was like, what the fuck? How many more belts can they give this guy? Can you give him the women's belt too, and the little people's belt or whatever? So he was the Intercontinental champion and the European champion. So and here's a story. I probably never even told this one before, but so it was a three-way match, and whoever wins the first fall wins the first belt. Whoever wins the second fall wins the second belt. And Kurt was in the unenviable position of losing both his titles without being pinned. Because I pinned Chris with one, and then Chris pinned me with the other. And Chris won the Intercontinental, and I won the European. And I remember that Chris won first, and I won second. I said, it doesn't make sense.
It was right? Back S-word, yeah.
Yeah, like why would you have the Intercontinental Championship decided first, which was a famous, legendary belt, and then have the European champion second, which is not really as high up. And I remember going to Pat and saying like either we should change the order of who wins first or change who wins the title. So like, if you want me to win last, then put the Intercontinental title on me and put the European on Chris. Or if you want it to stay the same, then have me win the European first and have Chris get it second. And I wasn't trying to politic for the Intercontinental Championship, although it totally would come across that way. And that's why I said I can't even talk to Vince about this because he's going to think I'm trying to politic for the Intercontinental Championship. But I went to talk to Pat because Pat was always pretty smart about what was going on. He's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. It's what Vince wants to do. It's not worth fighting for. And none of us had any power at the time anyway, so I just did it. But I always remember thinking, it makes no fucking sense. Why are you putting the Intercontinental first and the European second? But that was.
You know what? I was in the business 6 months, and I knew better. It's like, this doesn't make sense. The Intercontinental title first,
European second.
Oh, it was so wrong.
I remember, though, considering it was the three of us and all the great matches that the three of us had together, I remember thinking that one didn't go the way I wanted it to. And maybe it's just me. I don't think I've ever even watched it back. Maybe the crowd wasn't too hot for it, but something about it I just didn't feel worked.
Hey, folks, it's time to take your podcast game to the next level. And you certainly want to get your almighty push. My God, we have to have a push, right? We'll get that over to adfreeshows.com. Now, I'm telling you, if you're a fan of Grilling JR, adfreeshows.com has the entire episode library, and it's got no ads. 0 ads, zilch, none. Ad-free and on video starting at just $9. Did you hear what I said? $9. You spend more than that at Starbucks, for God's sakes. 2 mornings. But that's not all, folks. We've got tons of bonus content, including my after-hours roundtable, where drinking was involved with Eric and Tony. You simply will not find a better value in all of wrestling. Hey, look, don't make me go red ass, because by God, you know I will. Hurry over to adfreeshows.com right now and sign up. And I thank you.
Did you feel
no, I felt it too. It was a little off, and I don't know what it was, but you and I had some amazing matches. Had some amazing matches with Benoit, and for WrestleMania, that was, it was a little bit disappointing how it felt.
I agree, and that was also, and I'm gonna pull it out if I can find it. That was also the WrestleMania was in Los Angeles. I'm pulling this out so you guys can see this. It just happens to be behind me. I didn't plan this at all, obviously. But the original plan for that WrestleMania, if you remember, it was a 4-way title match with a McMahon in every corner. Right. Okay. And it was Rock, Big Show, Triple H, and Mick Foley with, Vince, Shane, Linda, and Stephanie with whoever they were with. The original plan for that match was the 4-way was Hunter, Rock, Big Show, and Jericho. And if you think that I'm just saying that because I heard rumors or someone told me, they actually made promotional pieces for the match. And this is kind of like the press kit for WrestleMania 2000 was what they called it. So you can see, like, I was never officially told that I was in the match, but why would I be there if it wasn't true? And there was a billboard on Sunset Boulevard with this exact picture on it. I remember seeing it, driving down going, wow, that's really cool that I'm on that. And then they started talking about the forward match. I was like, well, I got to be in it. And then I think Vince didn't have, he just didn't have the belief in me, I guess, to put me in that spot yet. So he brought Mick back. That was after Mick had retired. And I think Mick told me that Vince offered him, you know, enough money to pay his kids' college educations. So he came back. But that was the original. And what I was holding up for people that aren't watching was a press kit that has the 4 pictures on there, with mine being one of them. So interesting story to think about, right?
Chris, I didn't know that, man. That's pretty amazing. And I'm surprised that Vince didn't believe in you, because when you debuted, I mean, your entrance was freaking incredible. You know, the whole Y2J and, you know, when you first came out, you could tell you were a huge star. And,
thanks, but the thing about this, and you'll appreciate this, Kirk, because it's so much different now. But there was a lot of politics at that time. And when I say this, it's not from a bitter point of view or an angry point of view. It's just the way it was. So to come in, there was a lot of legit heat between Hunter and myself. Involved China, involved a little bit X-Pac as well. But Hunter and I just didn't like each other. And I think Hunter had such pull at the time, such power, that if he didn't like me, of course, even if he's not going out of his way to bury me to Vince, I'm sure anytime my name came up, it would be like, oh, that guy, come on. You know, it's just kind of the way the business worked at the time. So I think that might have had a lot to do with it. You know, you don't want Jericho in here. He's not a big enough name. Bring back Foley or see if Austin's available or whatever it may be. And that's probably kind of one of the reasons. And once again, I'm not saying that I've heard this. I just can tell. I can read the room for the past that we had. We're really cool now, but at the time we just fucking didn't like each other. Just didn't work. So that had a lot to do with my standing of where I was at the time.
Well, I don't think that was anything new for Triple H.
Well, yeah, it was, all of us went through it. Yeah, I think you even went through it a bit too, but you always came across, you weren't. I mean, I'm sure you were, but you didn't come across political, because, like you said, you were very new to the business, and you were instantly likable, and you had the legit street cred. So I don't think you were ever a danger, quote unquote, because they knew, like, whatever we tell Kurt, he'll do it. And he'll do it. If we tell Jericho something, he might question it, meaning, well, if we want to do it this way, maybe try it this way, it might work better. Right. And they didn't like that. Some guys didn't like that at the time. So I really got hammered a lot at first because of that. But
that's
it's also
you woke up.
Well, yeah, but also it was because of that quality that I was able to make it as far as I did. And probably the reason why I'm still here today, why we even started AEW, is because I always spoke my mind and stood up for what I thought was right. It wasn't me, like, sometimes it's me, like, listen, I called Vince one night when Cena was first starting our first pay-per-view. I said, Vince, you have to let me put this guy over. Right. Why? He doesn't mean anything. I said, he could mean something, but if you just put him on this big pay-per-view and I win, then what's the point? Because he had just done the big match with you, Kurt, and it was great. And you beat him, which, as you should have. But if we keep fucking beating him, it doesn't matter. So he did a great job with Kurt. Kurt beat him. He'll do a great job with me. And what if he beats me? Oh my gosh, he's starting to rise. So it wasn't ever about, I have to win or I have to this. It was what's best for the show and what's best for the match. And because I had an opinion and never cared about expressing it, that got me heat at the beginning. But then it got me respect in the end.
Right.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.